Oh, you sent it to me? Are we live right now? Oh shoot. So, uh, okay. I don't know how I'm gonna. If we're live, I probably won't get on my phone to post on my Instagram. Shoot. Can you? Are you in my Discord? Maybe you could post it there. Yeah, because I don't want to. No, no. Just tell them if you're going live with me, no one's gonna delete it. Nice, nice, nice. So we're live. Like we're live on YouTube. Oh sh. Oh shoot, shoot, shoot. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, 7:30. What time is 10:30 for you right now? Oh, okay. Oh, cool, cool, cool. No, all good, dude. All good, man. No, all good, dude. No, all good. No, all good.
Oh god. Echo.
Oh wow.
Here we go.
Oh shoot.
No, we're good. We're good. I should have coordinated this better, but I didn't know when you were gonna like show up. We got audio now. I had my mic muted.
Oh yeah.
We should be good now.
Cool, 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 cool.
All right. So, can you tell me a little bit about like I know you made videos about it, but can you just tell me like how you actually got the first job? Like you're totally self-taught. You went from zero to hero, and then you got the first job. How did it happen?
How I get my first job?
Yep.
Well, this is how it happened. I was sitting in my executive assistant job in Huntington Beach, and I was learning code at Treehouse, and I told myself, I know it's impossible for me to get a job in 3 months, but if I don't apply to jobs today, those jobs I could have applied to would be gone in a couple weeks. So I told myself, why not apply even if I don't qualify? So I made it a goal to apply to 3 jobs every day until I get a job, right, while I'm learning code. So after applying to jobs for just 1 or 2 weeks, I got a response on my email, which job I got now. Actually, no, he didn't respond to me. I sent my email. He didn't respond, but I thought I would get. I thought I could qualify. I called the company. I said I sent this email. CEO said come on Saturday. I came in, did an interview. And by the way, the CEO that was interviewing me for the job I have now, it was an hour and a half late to the interview. So for an hour and a half, okay, on that Saturday, I was contemplating, should I wait for this annoying CEO that is late to his own interview? And so I waited, and then he gave me the job on the spot. That's pretty much it, man.
What was the application like? What did it?
So I was on Craigslist.com. On Craigslist, literally, it just said, looking for people who know HTML, CSS, jQuery, PHP, Haskell, MySQL. That's it. I only do HTML and CSS. But I made a website, which I copied off YouTube. I said it was mine, showed it to him, and fortunately he liked what I made, and then he just gave me the job.
Wow. So you've had the same job for like since you started, right?
Yeah.
Have people reached out to you because of YouTube and all that stuff?
Honestly, I think people wouldn't want to hire me because of YouTube.
That's how I feel sometimes, because you have a personality, right?
Yeah, you have a personality, and because you're kind of out there, and people don't want to connect with that, unless maybe if I had 100,000 subs. I'm growing a lot now, but I think because of my YouTube channel, people would kind of stray away from me. So when I send out my application, so my YouTube channel isn't my full name, and so when I send out my application, I kind of use my full name, but not really. I send out my name in a way where if you type in my name on Google, you won't find my YouTube channel. So
wow.
That's usually how it works. If I was to send an application, that's what I would do.
Actually, that's exactly what happened to me, and I think that I've gotten ghosted because of that reason, specifically because when they Google it, they'll see some of my videos like, you know, why I'll never work for like Facebook or Google or something like that, right? Because they want you to live there for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they feed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and to some, like maybe a single dude, that sounds appetizing, but if you have other things to do outside, like in life with code, like it's just not fam. I want to go like hike some mountains and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
So what are you doing in between code, in between, you know, this whole YouTube thing?
Yeah. What do I do when I'm not doing YouTube or coding? I do a lot of things at church. I have a girlfriend who I love a lot, who I spend a lot of time with too. If I'm not doing code at YouTube, dang man, I mean that's my life. I don't know. Like other than that, I mean, other than I do a lot of things at church. I teach a lot. I I like going to the movies. Honestly, that's pretty much it. If not that, okay, I do game. I mean, I game late into the evening, but I recently stopped that because I could have been so much more of a better programmer if I did not game. So I cut that off a couple days ago.
What? So a couple days ago. So still fresh, still fresh. I know I'm in that boat too. You know, like 2 hours code, 6 hours
2 hours,
game.
my ass. That's not 2 hours, dude. I know you game way more than that.
Me, it depends on what I do. If I can play pub on my phone, then I'll do that. Or if I can like, so I should probably delete that from my phone before that catches up. Like,
yeah, no, for
that's
sure, man.
it's just like wasted time. It's not, it gives you that dopamine rush for almost no reason. You know, like
Yeah,
these points don't matter.
yeah, it doesn't. I mean, what you get in return for putting time into games, it's so at least for me personally, it's not worth it because I know how addicted I get to gaming because I know I'm pretty good at it, at least in what I play, and because I'm good at it, I like being the best. And so when I play in these competitive matches, I often win on the top of like get the most frags, and it's a good feeling, but it's not worth it because then what about my life outside of gaming? You know what I mean? So.
We got to know what you're talking about. What game? Just because.
Come on, dude. I'm a Counter Strike CS:GO player. CS:GO.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the Overwatch boat, so I know that feel.
Yeah,
Okay, so real question: if you could go back in time, like when you were learning code, what would you do differently? What would you tell yourself?
Man, it would be harder. I mean, if I had to start over today or back, I think today would be better, huh? Yeah, if I had to start over again today, I would tell myself it's going to be harder than when I first learned code 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, you just needed to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery really to get a junior job. But now you need to know PHP, need to know either React or Vue.js or Angular nowadays to get a job. I would tell myself this, that it's going to be hard, but it's well worth it. I would tell myself, now I became a developer in 3 months, but now it probably takes 6 months, if not a year and maybe a year and a half to become a developer. But it's worth it. And what I would tell myself is this: is that if I put in the hard work now for the next 1 or 2 years, my life would be completely changed after that. I would go from living from paycheck to paycheck to not even being able to afford $1 menu at McDonald's to being able to buy whatever meal I want. That hard work for the next couple of years is so much more worth it. You know what I mean? Not even just that. If I was single today, I would tell yourself, Chris, you work this hard, you get that job you want. I mean, why wouldn't anyone not want to marry you? You know what I mean? You could take care of your family. You could take care of I could take care of my parents, but it would have to take sacrifice. You would face times when you feel like you can't do it, but that's when it matters the most. And honestly, that's what I think is what separates real developers from fake ones and just wannabes. Is that when it gets hard, what do people often do? They give up, they quit. But that's when people will want to hire you. That is why self-taught developers, it is hard. But because of your willpower, because you have the ability to go past to what you think you can't do, that is why someone should want to hire you. But if you gave up, why would someone want to give you that job? Why would someone want to pay you $80,000 a year? So that's what I would tell myself. Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question that we talked about,
Yeah.
like when we were going to do this. How did you know? There's a lot of, I think this is a major kind of stopping point for people that are self-taught. How would you know when it's when your time to apply is? Like, because there's not like, all right, you're ready to apply. You just have to go.
Okay. Back then I got lucky, right? That's not normal to get a job in 3 months and just with a website, not really a portfolio or anything. You should start applying at least this when you know HTML, CSS, and you can make a website, right? And JavaScript. Once you know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, I think you should start applying. But realistically, it'll make your job easier to get a job. It'll make it easier to get a job when you know a JavaScript framework like Vue.js, React, or Angular. Now, when you know Vue.js, React, or Angular, you have to have a portfolio. When you have a portfolio, that's realistically when you should start applying. But because for me, I'm not really patient, I would start applying from the point of when I'm comfortable with JavaScript. So, but if you do not have a portfolio, you're wasting your time. If you don't have anything on, let's say, GitHub, if you don't have anything on, let's say, Stack Overflow, I guess you could say, you're wasting your time because you don't have that experience. you need at least something to show that you can do it. And if you don't have anything to prove that, if you don't have a degree or anything like that, no one will even look at you. And so that's what you need. You need that portfolio with at least one or two projects.
So that's what I was going to ask you. How many? So we have one question in the chat. It's like, when do I know if my JavaScript is good enough? Because JavaScript is huge, right?
Yeah, I mean, people who say they master JavaScript are stupid because you can't. It's always growing. Not even just that. If you know JavaScript, then you have to learn frameworks that use that JavaScript. Does that make sense? So I think JavaScript is something that you're always learning. When you know that you know JavaScript is when you're able to learn another framework. I guess you could say that. And why this is very important is because of this. Now, I am the main front-end developer at my company. Now, my job is to convert a jQuery into Vue.js at my company. That's my job right now. And at the same time, when I'm home, I'm studying React. But since I've been studying Vue.js and React, my entire company, at least my director and my senior developer, they noticed, wow, Chris, your JavaScript has increased dramatically. Why? Because I'm learning a framework. And I think this is very important because what a framework does is a framework allows you to see how JavaScript works from an outside view, from a bird's eye view. So when you're like learning at Treehouse, right? Or if you're learning at Udemy, when you're learning JavaScript, you're learning from it's like scoped in right there. You're only learning functions, loops. You're learning what is an array, what is an object. But when you're learning a framework, what it does is that it puts everything you learn into a bigger perspective that makes JavaScript easier to understand. And because of that, I could genuinely say I'm a lot better at JS now. So when you're ready to actually learn the framework, I think that's when you can say that you're pretty good at JavaScript.
So did you go to college before this, or like what's the whole?
No, man. I hate college, dude. I barely graduated high school. I was supposed to actually flunk. I was supposed to not graduate. I was supposed to fail. They gave me one chance. They said, Chris, unless you get at least a C in economics, then you can't graduate. I got a B plus, and that's why I graduated. I hate school. I suck at it. I suck at studying. So now, man, I was bad, but it was my hunger to change my life. It was knowing, I could live off, paycheck to paycheck a whole life, or actually hustle and make a difference and do something, and that's why I'm here.
So how do you recommend, this question, I get this a lot. They're like, how do you find projects? How do you find portfolios? What I tell them is like, go to Udemy, find something there that you like, follow that project, copy it, redo it again, but put your own twist on it, put that in your portfolio because you're going to learn the skills twice. I don't know what you say though.
No, I agree 100%. The thing is though, the problem with that, and I do agree, that's how you learn, right? You look at other people's code, they teach you, but you don't really learn that way. The way you learn is this. You try to build something without anyone teaching you. The reason I say that is because when you try to build something on your own, what's going to happen? You run into problems. Now, this is when people give up because they don't know where to start or they don't know where to go next. This is when a real developer comes in, right? This is how you know you're a real developer. It's that you know how to solve that problem. You run into a problem. Guess what? At work, I run into problems every day. Today, I ran into 5 problems. I had no idea how to solve, but I kept thinking. I kept researching how to solve it. So the one way I like projects is that I would say is, let's say if you want to do something like Twitter, don't replicate it exactly, but maybe try to learn how to do Ajax and how to reload something without refreshing the entire page. Make it really simple. You don't have to reload multiple images. It could just be one image. You're loading 2 images, 3 images at a time. Something really simple from that, and then you build out from there. I think people, what they try to do, a problem is that they try to make big projects right away, but that's not really feasible for someone who's new to coding. You have to start something really small, and from that small thing, do something really big. For example, I know someone who's in college, his first year in college, his name's Tyler. He's in my Discord channel. He's making a communication app using React, and he's not even being taught that. He's just using a documentation. So start somewhere small and go big from there. That's what I would suggest, man.
So I know you mentioned React and Vue. What do you think about like the other like so-called dead languages like PHP, Ruby? Do you think those are worth it?
PHP's dead. PHP's not, bro.
No, I don't think it's dead. This is what other people say.
Yeah, people who say that are stupid. PHP, it's like HTML. I mean, if you know HTML, doesn't mean you're a good developer. CSS doesn't mean you're a good developer. JavaScript, but there's a lot of legacy code. And what I mean by this too is that a lot of companies, they use PHP because that's what they used from years ago. Even though there are new languages like Node.js that are killing it, there's a bunch of other backend languages. I think PHP is basic. Now, the great thing about PHP is this, at least from my personal experience, is that if you get comfortable with JavaScript, PHP will be easy to learn because they're very similar, especially if you know some jQuery too. But no, man, I think people who say it's dead is stupid. Now, you do have to avoid languages that will not get you a job. Like, don't waste your time on jQuery. It's so easy to use. Just Google it. Don't waste your time on Ruby or Ruby and Rails. I don't think that's really killing it right now in regards to jobs. If I think you need to focus on languages that will get you a job as soon as possible. That's my point of view.
So like 5 years from now, what's your plan? Do you still want to be working this? Do you want to like be doing the YouTube? Where you want to be?
I don't think I'll be at my company 5 years from now. I think I will be a full stack developer working full stack React or whatever popular framework at that time. I'll be very fluent in Node.js. I'll be making over 120K a year working somewhere here in Orange County. Yeah, that's where I know what I will be. But I know this is that it will be hard. It's not easy to keep that hunger to keep learning code. Sometimes it gets dull. Sometimes you don't want to study code. There have been times I didn't study code for 2 weeks. So I know it'll be hard to be where I want to be in a couple of years, but the only way to reach that is to really remember why you're doing it in the first place. So yeah, that's what I see.
Do you think that you'd move to like Silicon Valley, or what do you think about
no
that?
Way, man. I mean, my church is here. And that's the number one reason. Secondly, though, I would never want to live in Silicon Valley. I actually grew up in the Bay Area. It's extremely expensive to live there, and you get paid a lot in Silicon Valley because rent is insane in Silicon Valley. So a lot of my friends I know who actually work there, they work in Silicon Valley, but they travel like an hour and a half in traffic just to get to the job because it's so expensive to live in that area. So nah, man, I plan living here, or maybe I could work remotely. I'll work for a company in Silicon Valley, but live here in Orange County or LA.
Cool. So I'm looking for questions here. Oh, he said, do you see yourself coding in 10 years, or do you want to be like more managerial roles?
Also, I want to code.
Also, Aaron and Beta just joined because I invited him.
This guy?
I wanted to get him in here.
Who's Aaron? This guy went to San Francisco. Didn't say hi to me, man.
What is this party?
My state, man. Who is this Aaron and Beta guy? What?
Okay, first off, San Francisco is like a whole nother country compared to Orange County.
Dude, that's only 6 hours north from me, man. It's good to see you, dude.
Good to see you too, man. Long time no see.
Long time since we've done a Google Live hangout, man.
I've been trying to get this going for like the past, well, I would say 10 years. This is what it feels like. But like, this is the goal. Now we need Coding Phase. I sent him the link on Instagram. If he comes in here, then we have like the little YouTube summit of like the underdogs that are all talking about code.
Nah, dude, we're not underdogs. We're not underdogs.
Well, in terms of subscriber count right now, true. But soon, like...
I think we're in like our own niche. You know, those other people I know we talk about, like software developers, web developers, our own niche. But I think, you know, dang, dude, you got a good camera, Aaron. What the heck?
Oh, this is my Mac camera.
Wait, what? Mac 2017?
No, 2015.
What? Oh,
yeah.
I need to use mic. You got a nice mic now, dude. Oh my gosh, man.
I bought this thing because I wanted to be a podcaster at one point in my life.
Really? Actually, I have a Rode NT1A because I wanted to write more rap music. But
yeah,
UT came along and yeah.
Aaron, you're totally self-taught, right?
What's that?
You're totally self-taught, right?
I went to a boot camp, yeah.
Oh wait, I thought you were self-taught. What boot camp did you go to?
I went to the Iron Yard. It was in the South. It started in South Carolina.
How was that like? When you went to go apply to a job, this is what we were talking about. This was like the main topic, how prepared you were for a job. Like, how prepared did you feel at the end of that boot camp?
So I think there was like my mindset for how prepared I was and then how prepared I actually was. So I felt like I wasn't prepared at all, but I was told that I was. So I went ahead and applied to places because like the boot camp was over and that's what you needed to do, right? Luckily for me, the boot camp that I went to was like super ingrained into like the local tech scene. So it has a bunch of connections and also knows a lot of what people are looking for in the area as far as skills go. So like that helped feeling prepared. But yeah, I mean, that still to this day, when I apply to jobs, I don't know that I necessarily feel like I have everything I need.
You know what I love about Aaron a lot is that he got let go of his job a couple months ago, right? And it was hard, like not having a job and applying. And I think when you get let go of a job, that's when you start to think, am I really good at coding? You know, you kind of second guess yourself. But you got a job in a matter of months, like 2 or 3 months, I think. And that alone shows, number one, his hunger, right, in this industry. But he has skill. And so, like, and I just respect you so much for that, man. I mean, jeez, dude, that's not an easy time, but bro, I mean.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Go ahead.
it was probably the hardest like moment of my life. I've never been let go from a job, and I'm talking like even like crappy like food service jobs. I've never been let
McDonald's,
go from a job. Yeah. And like I've done stupid stuff when I was a teenager with jobs and still had a job afterwards.
yeah.
Um and like I remember I walked out of that place getting let go that morning, and I walked over to the boot camp because it was literally right across the street from where I was working.
Yeah.
Um and I'll never forget the boot camp director there at the time. I sent her a message on Slack before I was over there. She's like, "Come over here, like let's get to work." And I just like carried that thought through the whole time and just went at that job search the same way I did the first one and just hustled
Nice, bro.
and found something. So
Dude.
How did
Yeah,
you
proud of you, man.
how did
That's
you
awesome.
attack that with like? Did you have a bunch of savings? Because I've been let go like 3 times. One at a startup, they ran out of money. Investors.
Since you became a developer.
Yeah. So
Well,
I started working at a startup, and basically the business model was flipped over because it just totally got neutralized. And they were like, "Yeah, we're not giving you any more money until you figure out this business model." And so, in turn, that was my first job. So I'm the first one to go, and I was just like part-time intern type deal. Then I got hired again for another job that was set up to do like this huge auto deal with a car dealership. And then that fell through, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have that money like we thought we were gonna. So goodbye." Like they hired me to ramp me up to learn the stack, you know. And then after that, I worked for another government agency, and basically the election happened. Everything switched, so all the people that we knew, like all of our hookups, were swapped out, and then all the contracts were put on hold. And so
shit, that sucks.
it was just like, why does this keep happening? So like that's why I don't know. I saved so much. Like I'm so paranoid. Like it's rough out there when you're trying to apply to these jobs.
Dang. Dang. I could say this. I mean, YouTube helps. Having a YouTube channel and the affiliates and stuff, that helps a lot. But I mean, I think in general it's good to save. I mean, I think that's the first rule of thumb. But that's crazy, dude. Dang.
So I would say I think that it's not uncommon to be let go from jobs, especially if you're working in the startup scene. Like startups come and go like milk on a store shelf, right? Like lots of them have an expiration date and they're not going to make it. So if you're going to work in the startup space, that's an inherent risk that you run. But it's also kind of like playing the lottery, because if you get a job at a startup and they take off, then you're set up for that. But the job security doesn't come from those kind of gigs. It comes from the fact that your skills are in demand regardless of where you are or when it is. Yeah, so I'm lucky that I have a wife who also works, and unemployment in North Carolina pays not great, but it paid enough. So
That's good, dude.
I'm not getting that Chris Sean affiliate money, so YouTube helped a little bit, but
I think like if you go to apply to a startup like AngelList.com, like they're so willing to hire fresh talent or fresh minds or whatever, but the chance is like if you take that, you have a high chance of not having a job in like 6 months. But hey, they're willing to take just about whatever they can get. The pay's not going to be great.
Experience is gold, man.
Yeah, experience is
is what's all
experience.
about.
As soon as you get that stamp on your resume, you're good. It's game. Like once you have your foot in the door in this game,
Yeah.
that's like the hardest part.
yeah, people who wouldn't even like respond to a LinkedIn message when I was applying and hadn't had a job yet, like were very interested after I had a year's worth of experience, which is,
That's crazy.
I mean,
insane.
it's not, I wasn't a considerably better programmer a year in. I was better, but I wasn't like, a rock star, like senior level developer, but it's just that they know you can hold down a job or whatever it is.
I mean I honestly, it's because like what you learn in a job in just a matter of months, you learn so much more compared to when you're teaching yourself code or even in school. I mean, that experience is gold. I mean, I honestly think even if you're a developer for 1 year, I don't think that's enough experience to make you like you don't learn enough yet. I think it takes at least 2 years to learn a sufficient amount of code and experience to be really at least pretty good at this. So,
Do you have any like day one of first professional experience? Like, what did you mess? Like, cause day one at startup for me, I merged my own pull request, which he basically walked up to me. He was like, "Never do that again," and I was like, "Yes, sir." Do you guys have any of those, or like struggle with that imposter syndrome?
I didn't ask questions. I was scared to ask questions. Because I wanted to act like I knew everything. But the thing is, they can tell easily what you know or don't know. And so I think that's a big problem that people have, is that you have to know everything when you don't, and it's easy to tell. I mean,
yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I wouldn't ask questions, and that held me back for like months.
Aaron, what about you?
I mean, as far as the imposter syndrome goes, it's something that I struggle with. Like this is the first time in my life where I've had a job where there aren't easy ways to blame other things for my success or failure. So like if you work in like retail sales or retail or food and beverage or whatever the jobs that I've had in the past, today I didn't make enough tips, or oh, nobody walked through the door, I didn't sell a cell phone today. But if I don't figure this bug out within the allotted time that it's been groomed to say that it should take, that's on me. And so that comes with like this, it comes with both like a sense of achievement when you finish that problem, but also like this like worry of like, am I really cut out for this? Which the answer is you are, right?
Yeah.
I say it a lot in videos. If you've gotten a job, if you figured out a way to get a job, that means you've convinced someone who you assume is way smarter than you at this because they've been doing it for years that that you have value. So that means that you are worth it and you do have a reason to be there.
Dang, Aaron and Beta, words of wisdom.
He's dropping gems. Like,
dang, man.
So what do you guys think about like a cover letter? How much of a fact does that play for you guys?
What cover letter?
They care about
for real?
Skills. You need to be able to show your skills, your projects, your you know, you can say you know React, but what have you done in React? Cover letters mean nothing.
You're hurting me, Chris.
Yeah, I honestly, that's what. Well, honestly, I'm sorry, man. Honestly, like with all the people I've interviewed, and I mean, Entrepreneur Magazine interviewed me, you know, and they wanted to give me the job, but they wanted me to miss like late nights, and I don't want to miss Bible studies. So, and literally I didn't give them a cover letter. I just said I'm interested, and they tested me in HTML and CSS, which is kind of weird. And I mean, yeah, why? What's your perspective on cover letters, Aaron?
So my opinion on cover letters is that it's your like it should be the secret ingredient for you to make it. A cover letter is never going to get you a job, right? You're never going to get hired because you write a dope ass cover letter. But what it can do is, am I allowed to cuss on your channel, Josh?
Yeah, what's up? Go ahead.
No, he's oh no, I can't. No, I'm just joking.
I don't know. Different people are different. I don't know. But so for me, it's like if you write a really, really good cover letter, it might get you a phone call for your first interview. If you didn't write a cover letter, like if you can show passion and that you like are really into the company that you're applying to, writing a really good cover letter is a way to do that. And it may be the foot in the door that you need if you don't have any experience.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I guess not necessarily in a way, like, I'm not sure how your cover letters are. For me, it's just, you know, a couple sentences there.
So what does your resume look like then? Like, so what I do, I got the obvious little info blurb, all my deets, and then below that I have like 1 or 2 sentence summary, and then skills, and then projects or work education, and then education is always at the bottom for me. It's always like skills, projects,
work about education.
Yeah.
So
you go for it, Aaron.
Oh, I was just going to say everybody's resume looks the same, right? Because they all have those things. And if they don't, then it's a crappy resume and it's going to get tossed to the side in the same way. So that's why I say cover letters are important to differentiate yourself. And when I write a cover letter,
I surrender.
I go deep with it.
I surrender.
You surrender? Oh, yes. Yeah. Like when I write a cover letter, I'll go to their website, do like deep research and be like, I see you guys use this, this, and this. That's super cool. I love working in this, this, and this. The way that you guys do this is really cool. You have these as your values. Those values align with my values. Like I'll go deep with it and spend way too much time writing a cover letter just because if someone actually does read it, they're going to remember you.
That's how I do it. I always look for like, go on LinkedIn, look at people that work there, what they're working with, look at any Glassdoor reviews, Glassdoor interview reviews, and then I look at like the tech stack they're using, and I see how I can basically word it so that I either want to use it or I have used it or I'm excited about like the possibility of just working there with these people doing something innovative. So we got one question. Does your resume have to have a decent design? Like, because we're all like front end people. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you need to know design as front end?
Your portfolio needs a good design, but I mean, I have a sick. My girlfriend's a designer. She designed my portfolio. I mean, my resume. It looks sick, but it hasn't done anything. It's just, I don't think so. At least I personally.
I think you run a big risk of like overly designing your resume so that the information isn't front and center, right? So if you think about your resume is there to be a quick snapshot of your skills, and what you're trying to show off is just straight information. And when you get too complicated, it overcomplicates things, and people don't know where to look or where to find the right thing.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Don't
go ahead.
ever put your picture on your resume. Don't ever put your picture in your resume. Please do not ever do that. I did that and I regret it.
I just made a video about that. Like, remove it, because people are going to make assumptions. Like, when people sent me resumes with pictures, it was hard for me to remove myself, like, and be like, yo, this guy looks like a serial killer. Even though I know he's like 99% not, I'm just like, it's just instant. Yeah.
And the thing about, there's two things to that too. One, you aren't there to defend yourself, and you aren't there to show your personality that could rebut whatever your appearance may suggest. And especially if you're not like a stereotypical looking developer, like, you know, cisgendered white dude, depending upon where you're applying, it can hold you back. And then two, there was a company that I applied to that I decided I didn't want to work for after the first step in the interview process, because their first interview, I wasn't on the phone with anybody. It was a recorded interview where a question would pop up on the screen, and it used my webcam to record me answering that question, and then sent that recording off to people. And like, to me, that's a way to screen people out based upon like appearance in a weird way before you ever, it's silly.
It's bad. And I think I know which company you're talking about. They wanted me to do the same thing. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about recruiters? Have you had experiences with recruiters? Because I feel like they just throw anything at the wall. Like, I get C++ senior dev. I'm like, I touched Unreal Engine once. What's up?
They just want to talk to you, gather information, and then throw you on a stack of other papers. That's what it feels like with recruiters.
Yeah, there are good recruiters and there are bad recruiters, but it's all a numbers game, right? Like, they have to spray their automatic machine gun at a wall and hope they hit something every once in a while, because they get paid by placing people. So.
I know that's how they frame it, they angle it so that you look amazing. Even they work a lot with like first time devs. I noticed that they did that with me too, and they just kind of tossed me in whatever role they could, and I was willing to take it because I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't care. I just feel like, you know, they're motivated, as Aaron said, because when they place you, you get hired. So you're making $40 an hour, $80K a year roughly. They're taking another $10 off the top. So they're charging the company $100K. You're getting 80 of that, and they're taking the slice. And then that's like for 6 months or whatever. And then you have benefits through the recruiter. But like, I had an experience with a recruiter. I went there like 4 different times, and the guy, like, they just didn't seem very interested, because you kind of get this. Well, I got this kind of like sleazy vibe that like they're just trying to sell you a product. Like, the recruiter is trying to sell the company a product, and you're the product just kind of in limbo, and they either want to buy you or not. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel right, man.
Yeah, I think they can be useful. If you can use them to your advantage, then use them to your advantage. There are plenty of sleazeball recruiters out there. There are recruiters out there. I know this to be a fact because I went to a boot camp with a guy who was a tech recruiter before he went to the boot camp. And like, there are certain places that will suggest, like, if you're a woman and you're talking to a guy for the first time, to take like your wedding ring off, and like sleazy sales tactics like that, because that's what they are. They're salespeople and they're selling you. Like, that's what it is.
How do you guys feel about freelance? Would you ever go freelance, Aaron?
I don't know that I would go freelance to like off the jump. I do want to be a business owner, and a lot of what I want to do kind of revolves in the world of what somebody who's doing freelance would do, but on a larger scale. So,
Chris,
I do freelance on the side. There are people from Africa who are hiring me to make a website. It's like they're paying me like $5,000 to do it, which is nice, but it's not something that I would necessarily want to do for a living, because with freelance, you know, it's you're really just in the hands of the people who are paying you. And the thing about being a developer, the most annoying thing is when you make a change and they keep making like a bunch of changes, change after change after change after change. And I can't see myself doing that, but I'll do it on the side for maybe like just, you know, here and there. But no, I prefer working in an office. I prefer working with people, and I think that's something I would like to do. And yeah.
Are you not a remote hero? You don't want to do remote life?
I could be a remote developer, but not freelance. I would, I can't see myself doing freelance, man. I like working in the office.
There's still a sense of team though when you work remote, right? Like, a lot of my work is remote with people from like Cape Town, South Africa, and London, England, and we still have a Slack channel that's open. We still share GIFs. We still have inside jokes, even though I've never met some of these people in real life. So you can still have that kind of sense of community and sense of team, even on a remote team. And if it's a good remote team, you will. Like, that's part of what makes it work.
Now, when you say like, well, I mean, I want to work remote. That would be sick. You know, I don't have to deal with LA traffic anymore. But in regards to like just getting your own clients on the side, it's not something I would do. YouTube's enough for me already.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also feel like it takes a certain type of person to be a freelancer, be a hustler. Like, you can't just like the space is too crowded now, where it's really, really hard for you to just hop on like a random freelance website and like actually land clients, unless you're racing to the bottom and then you're underselling your skills and undervaluing yourself.
I think you're competing with people that have a pretty high skill set, just the same as us, but the cost of living is so different that it's so hard to compete. Like, you know, they can charge $15 an hour, which would be like, you know, $35 an hour to us, and they can still live like a king there. And that's what makes it so difficult with freelance. Also, you have to have, you know, good references, people that they can back you up. You need a portfolio. It's just a really saturated space. And then when you combine that with remote, it's like, that's what everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to sit at home, work in their underwear. That's like the dream, right? Just to sit at home, work on the beach, digital nomad. That's like the hype. That's why I actually that was my first Google that I did when I was like, how can I work at home? And the only thing I saw was software development. What are your hours, Aaron? Don't you work super early?
I mean, my hours are super flexible. I wake up and start working at 6 a.m. just because it's a little bit easier because of the time difference to Cape Town. Yeah.
So have you gotten, have you gotten anything like from YouTube? How has YouTube benefited you, Aaron? Because Chris says that it's kind of like, he has a personality now and I have one on YouTube. So when you Google us, you see our faces and now we have opinions. How has that affected you?
So, I mean, other than like a random person stopping me in a Trader Joe's once and like a couple people locally who like have reached out and said, hey, you want to like meet up? I don't feel like there's much of a difference. It hasn't affected any kind of job that I've ever gotten or any job that I've applied to that I know of for now.
Do you include it? Do you include it on your resume? Like, do you even mention it?
I don't. But I have had people when they like when I was looking for a job and I like kind of worked my connections to make mutual connections, people have mentioned it in like intro emails, which I'm fine with because for me, I'm not like overly vulgar and I'm not like overly like demonstrative when I give negative opinions. I try to like look at both sides and I do that because that's the type of person I am, but that's also the person that I want to portray on the internet because I like to be measured and I think everybody has whatever. But so it doesn't bother me if you find my YouTube channel because I don't think I've done anything to make you not want to hire me. But I could be wrong for some people and that's fine. And if they're offended by it, they're offended by it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm sure Google's offended by my video about never wanting to work at Google.
I have a video.
All the people who leave comments worked at Google and all those negative comments. Yeah.
What is your hours, Chris? Are you just straight 9 to 5? You get flexibility there?
I'm salary. I technically will start at 9. I technically get off at 5. So you know, there have been times when I've been 2 hours late to work. I didn't get in trouble. You know, and I would leave like especially if I leave at 6. So it's really flexible. As long as I get my job done is all that matters. That's the only thing my company cares about. Yeah, so it's really flexible, man. So yeah, 9 to 5.
How big is your team? Because you said you're like the only front end guy, lead front end guy, right?
Yeah, I'm the lead front end guy. We got 3 back end developers. Well, technically they're full stack, but their main job is back end, and my main job is front end development. So, it works out perfectly that way, and it's good. So it's a team of 4 people, and all 3 of them are remote developers. One's in Spain, one's in Brazil. The other one, he lives in the area, but he lives far, so he comes in the office like only twice a week. He works from home.
Cool. So we have a couple questions for site themes. All right. So this is the first time I've actually met you guys. Hopefully, I think you guys are super cool. Hopefully the feeling is mutual. We should probably do this more. If you guys, all right. So Aaron and I kind of talked about this already. If you could pick an Avenger, who would you be? Aaron said I'm Thor. Who are you, Aaron?
Oh God. You put me on the spot here.
There's not that many.
Jeez. Good thing he
I
asked
don't
you
know.
first.
Yeah, I know, right? Can I be Deadpool? He's not an Avenger, but like
No,
I was-
Avenger, man.
no, I wasn't. So I wasn't super into the Avengers. Like I've watched the shows. I was way more of an
Yeah.
X-Men guy, and I'm definitely would want to be
Dude.
Gambit. Gambit's the most BA. Anyways, Avenger. I'll be Hawk, not because I'm big, but because I can get angry.
Chris, you have to pick.
I want to be Spider-Man.
No, you can't. All right. Well, like I got named Thor. I didn't choose it. I would pick Iron Man then because mechanical engineering, and that's what you think of when you think of mechanical engineering. And then you walk in, it's like here's a PowerPoint, here's an Excel sheet, and this is your life for the rest of your life. Like no, thank you.
Well, Josh, if we've picked Thor for you, then who would you pick for us?
Oh shoot.
Oh man, see, I would probably go with X-Men. I don't know why I asked Avengers originally.
Why did you ask Avengers, man?
Okay, all right. So I think Aaron, you can be Doctor Strange, and then
I can see
Chris,
that.
Chris, you can be Star-Lord. That's it.
Star-Lord?
I'll be Star-Lord then. Like Chris, they said that you're Black Widow in chat. I don't know. That's up to you.
I'm Black Widow.
Dude, Star-Lord's dope. I got Doctor Strange. I mean,
Doctor Strange is pretty sweet. Like I think, why doesn't he just cut portals on every person that he's trying? Like why didn't he just do that with Thanos? I don't get it.
Oh my gosh.
is there an Avenger with like a dope beard? I want to be that Avenger.
I think the guy that played
Wait.
Thor had one. What's his name? What's that
think
actor's
so.
name? I think he had it like after.
Yeah.
I'm Asian.
I grow whiskers. I don't grow beards.
That's okay. If I try to grow a beard, I don't look like more manly as you normally would. I just end up looking homeless. So
Oh my god.
yeah, I can't. it doesn't work out for me. So I can't grow facial hair at all. Like Aaron's over here with the beard of the year, and it's been probably like 4 hours for him. That'd be my guess.
I haven't shaved in 3 days. Can you tell?
That's wild.
Guys, thank you so much for giving me your time. I appreciate it. We should definitely do this more. I know this was kind of on the spot for everyone. Chris is a really busy dude. He's hard to get a hold of. Aaron looks at his DMs every 4 years. So this was an amazing feat to get together. I hope chat liked it. Let me give them a second to ask any like last minute questions.
Yeah.
Chris, you already answered this. I had one question like 4 times in Discord. They're like, how do you know when you know enough JavaScript to apply? Yeah, you guys can answer.
You don't. Like you're never if you wait until you feel like
That's
you're
very
ready to
true.
apply for jobs, you'll never apply for jobs. What you need to do, because you're never gonna feel ready. Like I'm a year and a half into this and I don't feel ready half the time. So like my thing is that what you should do is you should get to the point where you have a portfolio that has the basics of what a portfolio needs that everyone says, and then you apply for jobs. You get a couple interviews. You ask for feedback on those interviews, whether you get the job or not. You use that feedback to learn more stuff, and then you keep applying to jobs.
Dang, Aaron, drop the mic.
I would, but it's nice. I don't want to break
Whatever,
it.
dude.
It's the only one I got.
Dang, man. Aaron and Beta killing it, dude. Oh my gosh.
That's kind of what my goal was with like the whole interview video that I did. Like it was just a practice interview. I wasn't really interested in the job per se because it was a 6-month contract. So I would spend that entire month or 6 months of that just looking for another job because at the end of it, like I have a mortgage and a house and like I have stuff to take care of. It's too, maybe if I was a single dude, you know what I don't get is like the people that just offer equity as like a salary at the startups. I don't get that. We have one question for Aaron. Aaron, how long will you be in beta? When will you move to release and production phase? I added the last part.
So I've explained this a couple of times on my channel. I thought it was really clever when I came up with it. So I feel like I always live my life always like testing out new things and trying new things and figuring out what works. And that's like being in beta and software, like you're throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. So my whole life is just like a beta run for life. And maybe eventually I'll end up being settled with like where I am as a person, but I'm always trying to strive to be better.
So humble. So like by Aaron.
What are your guys' thoughts?
In the first place.
What are your guys' thoughts on Vue?
I mean, I'm doing it for a living now. I mean, I love it. Vue and React, I think once you learn one framework, the second framework's easy to learn, but Vue's picking up, man. Vue's picking up. Yeah.
I think, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think that it's a harmful skill to learn. It's definitely useful. A lot of people really like it. If your primary goal is to find a job, make sure there are Vue jobs in your area.
That's very true.
I
Learn
think
React.
Yeah, React is coming with. I think they just integrated state management now with like the newest update. So now you don't even have to use Redux because Redux was a huge pain. Now you get to deal with React's version of state.
That's
Like,
nice.
yeah. What are the questions we got? Like that's it, and then we're gonna go because I know Chris wants to probably go home. He's been working like 19 hours now.
Oh no, I'm good. Just live.
Oh, I saw one question earlier, Aaron, because Chris said he will never move because he's got his girlfriend, his family's church, and all that. Aaron, would you move to Silicon Valley? What would it take? What's the number? Everybody's got a number.
Well, I would have to look at housing prices. I know it's hella expensive. If it came from like a place of I need to move to San Francisco or this like VC won't back my startup idea, then I might move to San Francisco. But I also have a family. I'd have to figure out how that works with my family and stuff. But it's the same thing as kind of I don't know, like if the opportunity is right, go with the flow. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think that is all we have. I hope that you guys can like get some benefit on your channels from this. I didn't mean to like hog everything. I hope you guys shared it at least on your channels, and then we can do something maybe together again or individually for each one. Chris, if you want me on, Aaron, if you want me on, we'll make it happen. I'll make time. You guys just tell me when. This has been a super awesome experience. I never thought I would get this. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, this would be a cool idea, and now we're here, and it's happening.
Aaron and I, we don't talk as much as we used to, but dang, it's good to see Aaron too, and see you, Josh.
It's good to see you too, Chris.
Months ago. Yeah, man, a lot has happened, huh?
It's true. A lot has happened.
Insane, man. It's insane how much has happened since like the last 2 years. But it's good to see that we're still here. We're still here. And
we're still kicking it. Still making it on the YouTube.
Yeah. Hopefully. We'll see how long. We'll see how long.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool, dude. Thanks so much again for giving me your time. And I guess we'll have to come back. Yeah, Aaron, gotta plug. Yeah, plug the channels. Anything you guys want to say? Like, check out Chris Sean's channel. Check out Aaron's channel. Like, go follow them on all their social media. Go hit them up. They're very knowledgeable dudes. They inspire me. They make good content. Chris got awesome B-roll. Aaron got awesome. Like, he's a good screenwriter. Like, Chris is good at Aaron. Sorry, I'm gonna say Aaron. Aaron is good at telling stories. Like, I really like how he phrases his videos.
Like, I like watching Aaron's channel because I feel calm when I watch his videos, and he's just so cool to talk. Like, I just like listening. I don't comment or anything. I just watch it, and I have it playing in the background when I'm at work. And it's just like, that's my homie. I mean, I've been saying that from the beginning, right, Aaron?
That's true.
On my videos, that I just like watching it because I just feel like, you know, he's just a cool guy, and you know, I mean, you're dang, man. I mean, people be stupid to not follow you. That's insane. I don't know why they would.
Thanks for that.
I don't know why. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Honestly, like, and for both of you guys, Josh, like, I appreciate what you do, sharing knowledge and just being like audacious, and like the fact that you're putting up content that most people would be scared shitless to put up. Like, I would be scared shitless to record an interview and then throw it up, but it's so
Dude, that's
so
crazy.
useful to the community. I know. Yeah. Like, I saw that and I thought it was a joke or it was fake, and then I was like, literally, I don't know if people know this. Josh and I started talking because I saw that video and I was so impressed by it. But I reached out to him on Instagram and I was like, homie, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know where you live. That could be illegal. I was like so concerned for his, like, I was like, I don't want you to get sued for this.
Yeah. No, it's Utah. So we're one party consent state. I got some comments on that. We're one party consent state.
One party?
Yeah. So if I'm there, I'm allowed to record it. And that's basically how it is. But I muted. California. Yeah, I know, not in California, but I muted all of the details that would protect anyone's identity. And obviously, if they reached out to me, I would just take it down. It wouldn't be a big deal. But it's a pretty small company, and I don't think that it would be that big of a deal. But I try to do the best I could to like keep it as real as possible. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to get sued, so I tried to mute everything. Sure. I think people get so hyped in their heads about interviews, and they watch all these mock-ups, but like just talking to someone you don't know, like it's easy watching a video of some guy telling you what to do, but like when you're talking to someone on the phone brand new, you don't know them, and then you have to drive that conversation and answer technical questions and curveball questions. Like people, I don't know. I don't think people are prepared for that. Like, I mean, Chris, your interview was different. The job that I have now was different. Like, I didn't get whiteboarded. Yeah. You didn't get whiteboarded. Did you get whiteboarded, Aaron?
I got whiteboarded for my first job and not my second.
Funny, right? Isn't that crazy?
How'd you manage the second
So-
one?
The second one, I just went in there, and the woman who was in charge used to work at my old job. And we talked about that a bunch, and we like just kind of shared stories and had a really good old time, and we didn't really talk about anything technical at all. So yeah,
That was pretty
she just
cool.
liked me as a person and like knew me from my previous job, so reached out to those people. They said I was good, and
Yeah.
the rest is the rest. Yeah.
What do you
So
work
funny
with,
how it
Aaron?
works.
What's your stack, Aaron?
I mostly live in React in MobX. We have a Node.js backend and a Node layer that does data manipulation for us that I look at sometimes, but mostly React and
Dude.
MobX.
Your future is set, man.
Dude, you're set for life.
Dude.
Job,
Oh, dude.
future
Relax.
employed.
Man, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, what you're doing at your job now compared to your last job, for sure, your future is even that much more stable now. So,
For
dang,
sure.
man, I'm happy for you, dude. That's awesome.
Dude, I'm over
Thanks.
here in ASP.NET and C#, like legacy ancient code. So but I teach on the side, right? So that's when I do my coding outside of work is when I'm teaching people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Josh, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How are you here if you actually work in 2006?
Um,
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Ha ha ha. Old technologies. But
yeah. So
Oh my
I mean,
God.
that's some pretty next level jokes, Aaron. Please, I know it's like a dinosaur technology. I don't know how we do. It was like the first single page application, but instead of like changing components and stuff, literally all we do is change the login screen goes to display none and the content goes to display block. And that is it just toggles between the two as a single page app. If you click refresh, you get
Unclick.
kicked to the logout. If you click back, you get clicked to the logout. There's no routing at all, static URL. It's terrible.
That's amazing.
But I don't know.
It's paying you bills,
But-
so whatever.
I'm going to be honest, ASP.NET is super duper in demand, like where I am. So it's not like those jobs aren't out there anymore. Like there are ASP.NET jobs everywhere. And because nobody wants to like,
Learn it.
sorry, I'll take this back. A lot of people, well, nobody's learning it right now because everybody tells you not to learn it. And then the people who do know it get like, they're trying to do like more newer technology. So these people who are working in ASP.NET make a ton of money working on legacy code because they have to pay them to
Yeah.
get anybody to do it.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are you doing when you're not working?
What's that?
What are you doing when you're not working?
I play music. My guitar's right there. I film YouTube videos. I play Fortnite on that
Wait,
TV
you
right
do
there.
YouTube videos?
I do YouTube videos.
Dude.
Well, I used to, and then I took
Oh.
like a long break, and then now yeah.
Oh shoot, dude. Me too, man. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I want to be you someday, Chris. You're so motivating.
Chris is
Honestly,
gold.
what Honestly, Chris's story is like the dopest story in the world, and it's classic. You talk about how I can tell a story, Josh. Honestly, like it feels like Chris's story was written because it's so like the beats that it goes on are so good, and the way that he shares himself like to his audience is like open, and yeah, it's just really good. I appreciate everything
Oh,
Chris
well,
does,
that-
especially for the community. Yeah.
Hold on, man. Thank you.
Dude, every single one of Chris's videos is they're pretty motivating. Like, but I asked him this when I first asked him on Discord. I was like, why do you film every video in the front seat of your car, and how do you set that up? And so I don't know. That was just like what I noticed at first because it was like front seat of car, drone shot, intro topic, and then like I was like, well, why is that? But like when you get past that, you get to like the content, like the way he propositions every video with a question and then intro. So he hooks you. It's like hook, line, and sinker, literally back to back to back. And he always has good topics. And also his thumbnail game is pretty lit. And then also his title game is pretty lit. Like I don't know. Chris is you're a good YouTuber, dude. You deserve it.
Nah, it's learn from everyone. I learned from everyone. So
Who inspired you to do this? Why did you want to start this journey?
Gary V, Peter McKinnon. Yeah, those are the two people I pretty much like not copied, but they inspired me a lot. So, I mean, my video editing from Peter McKinnon, Gary V on making a difference in your life by just willpower, determination, and that's what I did. And YouTube, everyone copies from each other. I mean, Coding Face started doing live videos. I'm like, shoot, I need to do live videos. Dread Dev made sick thumbnails. I'm like, dang, I think thumbnails are important. So everyone started making better thumbnails. You know, we all learn from each other, and so it's all like I learned from all you guys too. So Yeah, it's a community.
Aaron, who's your inspiration?
Honestly, like when I first started, I tried to find channels like Chris and mine and Coding Phase, and I looked around and all I saw were tutorial channels.
Yeah.
So what I decided I wanted to do was I wanted to be Casey Neistat, but trying to find my first developer job. And so that was like my inspiration. And you can see it in some of my really early videos where I try to do, I try to do these like awkward cuts to like me, like drawing and stuff, which is like just straight out of Casey Neistat's playbook. And then we were like a few months into this, and like Chris Sean started popping up in my recommended, and Coding Phase started popping up in my recommended. And I think we all started our channel within like a month and a half or 2 months of each other. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
And so it's just wild that all of like the brain connectivity that all kind of came together at the same time for us, sharing hard skills.
I don't know. There's so much out there. Like people, there's so many people in our positions or that want to be in our positions that, you know, where we were previously, and they're like, how did you do it? And you know, I'm always like, look at people, see what they do, and then, you know, just do what they do and you'll get here. But it's not, I mean, it's not always that easy, especially, I think, maybe this is totally wrong, but like a lot of people think there's like a junior dev saturation, which it depends on your portfolio and how you interview. But I don't think that's the case, because I've been told basically in 5 years, Amazon's going to have so many positions like ramping up for software engineering that they could hire every CS grad in the United States and still have vacancies. So I don't think that's an issue. I think it's just like dev.
You have to learn the right languages.
Okay, learning to learn is the more valuable skill. It's not what you know, it's how fast you can learn something, in my opinion.
I also don't think it matters. There's a junior dev saturation, yes or no, that doesn't matter. You don't need to check the box that says I'm a junior dev and there are too many of us. What you need to check is I'm me and I'm valuable to this company, so give me a job.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree. And you don't need to meet all the qualifications. You will never meet all the qualifications they have. Rarely ever. So, I mean, don't even worry about that. I mean, I only qualify for 2 of the 15 languages my job has, so.
I think it's like, whenever I'm applying to a job, when I didn't have a job, it was like Java, 8 years required. All right, I'm your man. Never touched it, but you tell me what to do. Give me a shot. I'll go for it. Like, I don't care. I don't put myself in a box. If it says software, I apply to it. That's just, if they say no, I lose nothing, but I gain the experience. If they say yes, my whole life has changed.
Yep, exactly.
And there's like a ace up your sleeve depending upon how you learned code. For Chris, he learned on his own in a couple of months. So what he got to speak to was, look at what I did in a couple of months. Imagine what I can do with like at your company with the proper setting and team around me. Imagine where I'll be 2 months from now, 6 months from now, and a year from now. And that's a powerful story to tell.
What do you guys think it's going to be like? Okay, so I know I said like we'll stop at like 10, but let's just cut it off in like 10 minutes at like 9:30, because I can just keep going. You guys, like, I don't know. I want to know what you know. I like learning from you, talking to you guys. You guys are cool dudes. So, anyways, thanks again.
Light out. Once I lose light, I can't continue.
All right, once the light's gone, we're done. So, what do you guys think
just
about?
Remember, I'm on the East Coast, y'all.
Oh yeah, you're already done. I'm almost done. Basically, what do you think? What do you think we should be learning going forward? So right now JavaScript and Python are huge in demand. What do you think is going to be the future?
I think that it's hard. So it's hard to know when you're in it. Like, I think Polymer could be the next big thing, but I don't know, because a lot of things fall on their face. Like, they fail to give what they're promised, right? 2 years ago, a lot of people thought CoffeeScript might be the next big thing, but I mean, who uses CoffeeScript today? No one. So it's hard to tell. Dang, somebody driving a banger.
I'm right. Yeah.
But I would say it's hard. It's hard to know immediately. Just keep following along with like articles. Like, make sure you read up on things. Follow like Hacker News and those kind of things. If you see something that interests you that looks like it's growing, like Vue, and you have time, pick it up. And then keep an eye on. So this is a big thing. Keep an eye on job boards. Make sure you're looking to see what people are hiring for today, because those are the jobs that people are trying to hire for today. Like, you may not have a job tomorrow, or you may want a new job in 6 months. So you need to learn those things.
I agree with that 100%. I look at Indeed.com and Craigslist every single day.
Yeah.
Every day. And if I see jobs that people on my Discord channel, on my Discord that people can qualify for. I'll post on my Discord channel, but every day. And I think that's one way you stay on top of the game, because that way you know what is in demand now. But in regards to what language to learn, machine learning is killing it right now. Machine learning is where a lot of things are going. But more than even just that, than a specific language, you just have to keep learning. The moment you stop learning is the moment you're not as valuable anymore to your company or to any company. So you have to keep learning. If you stop learning, then that's it, honestly.
So one more thing here. So since we're talking about jobs and like where to go, you said Indeed. So one person said, how do I find startups in my area? I would recommend AngelList. AngelList is usually perfect for that. And then there's Indeed.com, Stack Overflow. We work remotely. Remote okay. Have you? I mean, I get a lot of stuff from cyber recruiters, but like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's really hit or miss. I've actually replied, and they're like, "We think you're a great fit," and then I'm like, replied with my resume and stuff. I'm like, "All right, here you go. Here's a cool cover letter they made just for you." He's like, "Sorry, you're not a good fit." I'm like, "Dude, what? You just messaged me." But anyways, what are your guys' go-to websites for applying to jobs?
Just those two jobs, Indeed and Craigslist for me. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really look anywhere else. Indeed's hard to get jobs on. Craigslist is a lot
Never use
easier.
Stack Overflow?
Stack Overflow too. That's actually how Entrepreneur Magazine. I applied to Entrepreneur Magazine on Stack Overflow, and yeah, that's how I met them.
What about you, Aaron?
So I mean, for me, Indeed, I've heard people mention Dice a lot. I've never personally used it, but like if you want to go a layer deeper, right? Everybody's applying to jobs on Indeed because they're easy to find. So a good thing to do would be to like do research about what companies are in your area, find those companies, and then look at their specific website and see if they have openings. So I found my first job by literally Google searching startups in Durham, North Carolina. And like the third company listed, it had nothing to do with jobs, was a company. I clicked on their website. They were hiring a web developer. I applied to the job, and a month later I got a job. So like doing a little bit of research on your end outside of job websites. And then like just get involved in the local tech community. If you live in a metro area, you probably have a Slack group that's like a JavaScript Slack group for that specific area. Or if you have like a Python group or just general software development, and like get in there, start communicating with people. They usually have job boards on there, and people will post them there before they go out and post them on Indeed, because it costs money to post on Indeed. It's free to throw it on a Slack channel.
Gems. Dang.
So what do you guys think? All right, I guess this is like one of the most controversial questions. Is college worth it? I'm going to say no. What do you guys say?
Yes.
You say yes?
Depends. Computer science.
That's what I would say.
Leaving high school, yes. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have to go into massive amounts of debt to do it, I think college is worth it. If you're going to be $100,000 in debt at the end of it, then probably not. College is so much more.
If you go to USC, I think it's worth it because Google will pay that off right away.
Well, it also depends on what school you go to, right?
Yes,
if you go to Harvard and you're $100,000 in debt, sure. But if you're going to like, San Antonio State or something, like it's probably totally not worth it. Mm-hmm. But college is also a lot more valuable than just the like learning how to program or whatever it is. You get exposed to a lot more soft skills that maybe you weren't exposed to in high school. Mm-hmm. Maybe it breaks you out of your bubble. Like those kind of things are all really like valuable things that you can gain. But it's not a requirement anymore. I think that's the important differentiator. It's not whether it's worth it or not. Is it a requirement? And the answer to that is definitely no.
Mm-hmm. It's not a requirement at all, but it helps. It definitely helps.
I think it's just what I've seen before and what I've seen CEOs say before is that if you have a bachelor's degree or a degree that takes any length of time to get, it just shows your commitment to be able to achieve something over the course of time. Right. I mean, and then you gain, like as Aaron said, you get the soft skills of like being paired up with people that are difficult to work with, people that don't carry their weight, just having to learn new things where you work on a project and everything falls through. How do you deal with that? Like more real life situations that aren't impossible to get if you don't go, but they're going to be a lot harder on you when you do experience them for the first time. I mean, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
So, go ahead. Oh, were you going to say something? Okay, so I don't think we have any more questions in chat, and I'll finally end it because Chris has no light, so he can go home. Thanks, guys. Seriously, I didn't expect this, so this is made my whole week. You guys are awesome. Thanks for showing up, and thanks chat for showing up, asking questions, hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Go check out their channels and follow them. So, thanks guys.
All right, man.
Thanks, Josh.
Talk to you later, bro.
All right, guys.
Good to see you again, Chris.
Yeah.
Good to see you,
Bye.
bro.
See ya.
Peace out.